You're listening to the Small Business Accelerator podcast, accelerating success, one founder at a time.
With your hosts, Roger Bryant and Sarah Wilson.
We support small business owners, the little guys. We're here to help you win in today's landscape.
Join us each week as we reveal powerful strategies for small business owners that save you time and money.
Because we believe every small business owner should have access to Fortune 500 style strategies without breaking the bank.
Subscribe now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to accelerate your small business success.
Okay, ready to dive into something that I think we all struggle with a little bit.
Always up for a challenge. What are we tackling today?
Email. Specifically, that feeling of like, oh no, my inbox is out of control again. You know that feeling, right?
Oh, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
you already need a vacation just from looking at it.
Yeah.
I think we've all been there.
Exactly. And you know what's interesting? You're not alone. We actually got some resources from our listeners wanting to dig into this very topic. We've got the Stop Drowning in Emails PDF, and then there's this Automations Made Easy course description. Looks super interesting.
I'm intrigued already.
Mhm.
So are we on a mission to conquer the inbox monster today?
That's the plan. Hopefully find some strategies to reclaim some time and maybe, just maybe, some sanity along the way.
Sounds like a worthy goal to me.
I'm thinking we start with that Stop Drowning PDF. I was skimming it earlier, and it mentioned this whole thing about email anxiety. Is that like a real thing?
Oh, it's definitely real. Especially, I think, in these kind of high-pressure work environments.
What is it about email that stresses us out so much?
It's like this constant bombardment of information, right? Every notification, every ping. It's like your brain never really gets a break. And what happens? You get stressed, your focus goes out the window. There are even studies that show it can actually affect your physical health.
Really? Like how?
Well, have you ever noticed how easy it is to overeat when you're glued to your inbox?
Okay. Yes. All the time.
Well, there's actually a reason for that. It's because when you're distracted, your brain doesn't register those signals that you're full as effectively. So you just keep eating, even though you're not really hungry.
Wow, that's kind of scary when you think about it. I mean, we're talking about more than just productivity here. This is about our well-being.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to find strategies that actually work, not just Band-Aid solutions, which, by the way, is something the Stop Drowning PDF really emphasizes. It's about making lasting changes.
So where do we even begin? I mean, for me, just the sheer volume of emails alone can feel paralyzing.
Right. It's about working smarter, not harder. And that's where those practical tips for achieving inbox zero come in.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are some of the key things that jumped out at you?
Well, they emphasize the importance of creating a system. And it all starts with those filters.
Ah, filters.
You've got to love a good filter. It's like having your own personal assistant, right? Instead of manually sorting through everything, you can set up rules so that certain emails automatically go to specific folders.
Like newsletters, promotions, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And the best part is that most email platforms make it pretty user-friendly these days. It's not as complicated as it might seem.
That's good to know. I feel like I've been intimidated to really dig into filters before.
I get it. But once you get those set up, it's amazing how much cleaner your inbox will look. And you know what pairs really well with filters? Labels and categories.
Okay, break that down for me. What's the difference?
So think of labels like tags. Let's say you're working on a big project. You can create a label specifically for that project and then apply it to all related emails. It's a way to group them together without them getting lost in your main inbox.
So it's like creating your own personalized filing system within your inbox. I like it.
Exactly. And what's great is you can customize it to your liking. Some people organize by sender, others by urgency. It's all about finding what works best for you.
And sometimes, you know what works best? Just hitting that delete button.
Oh, it's so true. Sometimes the most liberating thing you can do is just let go.
Seriously. The PDF actually talks about how we often hold on to emails out of this like obligation or fear of missing something important. But honestly, how many emails do we actually need to keep?
Right. Sometimes less is more, right? And for those emails that you're not quite ready to part with but don't need clogging up your inbox, there's always archiving.
Ah, yes, archiving. Like that storage unit where you put things you might need someday. Out of sight, but still accessible. Love it. So we've got filters, labels, deleting, archiving. Are we on the road to inbox zero yet?
We're getting there.
Yeah.
But the PDF makes a really interesting point. It's not just about what you do. It's about setting those boundaries and expectations with the people you work with, too.
Oh, 100%. I've definitely been on both sides of those late-night email chains, and it's like, when does the workday actually end?
Exactly. It's about being mindful of everyone's time. And sometimes, instead of defaulting to email, maybe a quick chat or a video call would be way more efficient, don't you think?
Absolutely. Sometimes you can avoid a whole email thread just by picking up the phone. So much can get lost in translation through text alone.
Right. Sometimes a quick conversation is all you need.
Okay, so we've covered organization, we've talked boundaries, but you know what really caught my eye in these materials? Automation's made easy. I mean, 2 hours saved every day. That's life-changing.
Right. It's not just about the time. It's about what you can do with that time. Imagine being able to focus on the things you're truly passionate about without feeling constantly bogged down by busy work.
The course description really hooks you with the language it talks about designing smart systems, not just quick fixes.
I like that because it's about working smarter, right? Not just harder.
Yeah.
And it's about building something sustainable, not just putting out fires all the time.
Exactly. And I think what's really cool is that it's not just for the tech wizards out there, They seem to emphasize that anyone can do this, even if you're not a coding expert.
I was going to say, it sounds like they break it down step by step, starting with the basics, gradually building those skills.
Okay, so now I'm curious about the tools themselves, and the Stop Drowning in Emails PDF actually goes there. They talk about email clients, assistive apps, and they even get into those collaboration tools, which I think is so key.
Yes, because it's all connected, isn't it? Email doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in terms of email clients, they mentioned Gmail, of course, but also Mozilla Thunderbird, especially for people who need offline access.
Which is huge for people who travel a lot or just prefer to have that option. And you know what else stood out to me? They recommend Abby Fine Reader for anyone who deals with a lot of printed documents. It's an OCR tool.
OCR. For those of us who aren't familiar, what does that stand for?
Optical character recognition. Basically, it allows you to convert scanned documents into editable text.
So instead of manually retyping everything, you can just scan it and the software does the work for you.
Precisely. It can be a lifesaver if you're constantly dealing with paperwork or contracts.
Game changer. And then there's DocuSign, which, let's be honest, is a godsend in the age of remote work.
Oh, absolutely. No more
Yeah.
printing, signing, scanning, emailing it. Streamlines the whole process.
So much easier. But it's interesting how this whole conversation is expanding beyond just individual email management. The PDF really highlights the importance of collaboration tools like those project management platforms.
Right. Because when you're working on a team, it's not just about your inbox. It's about how you're communicating and sharing information with everyone else.
Yeah, and these platforms are so key these days, right? I mean, so much of work happens in these collaborative spaces.
Totally. And it's interesting how they break it down in the PDF. Like they talk about the strengths of each platform. Like how Asana is really versatile.
Right.
So teams can visualize and manage their tasks in different ways. Like if they want to use like traditional lists, they can. But they can also do those Kanban boards.
Kanban boards, yeah. I was hoping you could explain those. I feel like everyone's talking about those lately.
Yeah, so it's basically like a virtual whiteboard.
Oh.
Okay. And it has these different columns that represent different stages of a project.
Okay.
Like to do, in progress, done.
Yeah.
And you create these digital cards for your tasks and you move them across the board
Gotcha.
as you're making progress. So it's super visual.
Yeah.
You can easily see how work is flowing
Makes total sense.
and where any bottlenecks might be happening.
So that's Asana. It has that visual workflow. And then they talk about Trello.
Yeah, Trello is really cool because it's super simple to use.
Right.
Very intuitive.
Right.
So it's great for individuals or teams who are just starting out with project management.
It's very user-friendly, I've heard.
Exactly. And then there's Basecamp, which is interesting because it's more like a central hub for everything.
Oh, okay.
For communication, for file sharing. It's designed to keep everything in one place so you don't have these endless email threads going back and forth.
I like that. And then they even mentioned Smartsheet, which is interesting because it seems like it has more of that work execution, automation.
Yeah, it's got a lot of powerful features.
And then Copper, which is cool because it brings together project management with CRM specifically for Gmail users.
Right, so it's really tailored to those folks.
So really, it's like, whatever your needs are, there's a tool out there.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And I think that's really the key takeaway here.
Yeah.
It's not just about having the tools.
Right, yeah.
It's about understanding what your needs are and then picking the ones that are going to work best for you and your team.
100%. And making sure that the technology is actually helping you, right? Not becoming another thing you have to manage.
Exactly. It's about making your life easier, not more complicated.
Totally. So as we kind of wrap up this email deep dive,
Yes.
I want to go back to something the Stop Drowning in Emails PDF really emphasize, and that's the why behind all of this.
The why.
Why is it so important to get a handle on your inbox? Because at the end of the day, it's about more than just a clean inbox, right?
Oh, absolutely not. It's about your well-being. It's about your time.
Exactly.
It's about having the mental space to focus on the things that matter most to you.
Yes. And they highlighted some really key benefits. I mean, productivity, for one.
Right. When you're not constantly feeling scattered, you can get so much more done.
Right.
And it's not just about getting more done. It's about the quality of work that you're doing.
And it's about the quality of your life outside of work, too.
Exactly.
Because when you're less stressed, when you have more time, that benefits every area of your life.
100%. And something else they mentioned that really resonated with me is how all of this, even something as simple as like a well-organized inbox or a prompt email reply,
The little things.
it contributes to this sense of professionalism, of reliability.
It shows you respect other people's time.
Exactly. And I think that's so important, especially in today's world.
It makes a difference.
It really does.
So I think as we wrap up, the biggest takeaway here is that it's a journey.
It is.
Taming the email beast, it's not a one-time thing. You don't just organize your inbox once and then you're done. It's about creating these habits, these systems.
And constantly evaluating them, right?
Yeah.
Seeing what's working, what's not, and making adjustments as you go.
Exactly. And being kind to yourself throughout the process, because it's the process. No one has it perfectly figured out.
Oh, absolutely not. We're all just doing our best.
Right. But I think the good news is, with the right tools and strategies, it is possible to get to a place where you feel like you're in control of your inbox.
Spend your time.
Yes, and you're not letting it control you.
It's a much better feeling, that's for sure.
It really is, and that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely.
Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for taking this deep dive with me.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Always love a good email conversation.
Me too, apparently. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you next time for another deep dive.
Thanks for tuning in to the Small Business Accelerator podcast.
We really hope today's strategies help you grow your business without breaking the bank.
Don't forget to check the show notes for links to resources we've handpicked for small business success.
If you found value in today's episode, it would make our day if you subscribed to the podcast and left us a review.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And stay tuned for our next episode. Next time, we'll reveal yet another game-changing strategy that's revolutionizing how small businesses on a shoestring budget take on giant corporations and accelerate their success.
Until then, keep accelerating your success.
This is Sarah Wilson.
And Roger Bryant, signing off.